What's goody, everybody? It's Kim and I'm back with my tea of the day. Welcome to season 3, episode 7. The rest y siete. And I have a special guest. And it's Kendra. Kendra Crump.
Hey, look at you with being more tech savvy than I am.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
I listen, honey. I got scared. You know what? You know what? I bet you know what the cure of cancer is, man. You so smart. You know that, y'all. Can y'all believe y'all's host is so freaking smart, man? Like this podcaster, he's a millionaire. Okay, like his hair is like just flowing. His skin is just like it ain't cracking. Like it's beautiful. I love it.
Mm.
I love it.
Thank you. How are you?
You know, everything is everything. I ain't been slept nobody, so you know it's still early though. I just kind of woke up not too long ago, like 15 minutes ago. So I think it'd be wrong if I'm sitting here swinging on folks early in the morning, right?
Hmm.
Or just waking
Absolutely.
up. How you feeling? How'd you sleep? You ate your Wheaties this morning yet, or you still kind of in bed as well?
Not yet. I just got up not that long ago. Just
All
ready to
right
start
then.
this day.
Okay, all right
So,
then.
let me welcome you to my channel. Everyone, this is Kendra from Kendra's Crump podcast, and many more, many other things that she has going on.
Mhm. Mhm. That's right. Thank you so much for having me. First off, thank you for not thinking I was a bot or spam and just deleting my message. I appreciate it. Some people don't care to work with you. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to give you a chance. So I appreciate you giving me a chance.
Well, thank you for reaching out. Like that was, I would want to say like you're like one of the first people to actually reach out from the whole the other page blogging me or whatever.
Hmm.
So it was extremely dope to see, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it actually did work. Check me out. And I just love working with different people and just getting different perspectives, especially on anyone's channel. Just for
That's right.
conversation that needs to really be had, kind of thing.
You know what? One thing I realized, and this is something to all 30,000 of your listeners, because you're just popping like that. Okay.
Hmm.
So let me tell y'all something. When it comes to going after your dreams, hit the ground running. It's like folks are always claiming, "Oh God, send me a man, send me a man." You expect, and you don't go out. You expect the man to break into your house, and be like, "I'm here to be your Prince Charming." It doesn't work like that. You guys got to do the work. And again, it's not going to work for everybody. Like some people, like I said, not everybody's going to welcome you. Not everybody's going to want to work with you. Some people will give you the runaround. Like some people do not care to. They really are sorry people. Like on my podcast, I ban podcasters. Because I want people to know, hey, listen, just let you know, don't work with this person. They did that to me. What do you think they're gonna do that? They're gonna do the same thing to you. I don't care. Like I am the type of person. I used to be afraid, right? My voice, I was afraid to speak the truth because I was afraid people would sit here, go off on me. They might try to fight me. But one thing I realized is this: you ain't gonna win every fight. Like, let me ask you something. Did you grow up fighting a lot, or you were like the mellow, cool kid?
Um, Definitely more on the medical kid, but when I had to fight, I did.
Yeah. Now, what's your record? Would you say you 12-0? Or have you lost a couple fights?
You never always win, especially
Okay.
because you never know what you're getting yourself into, and
No.
then you psych yourself out in the middle
Uh-huh.
of it or
Uh-huh.
whatever that looks like. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Now, let me ask you this: are you still cool with any of the people that you actually got into a fight with, or is still on site to this day?
It's not on site, but we're not kumbaya type thing.
Can y'all be social media friends, or not even then?
I guess like one or two of them I'm still social media friends with, but other than that, yeah, no.
Okay. But no, what I was going to say was, because I came across some people like, yeah, I won every fight. Don't believe anybody who says they won every fight. But no, like I said, man, to me, it's just, when you go after your dreams, you got to go to the crowd, man. See, check people out. Don't be so quick to want to, not want to work with a person because they might not believe in the same thing you believe in, because you guys might not like the same person. Like at some point you got to grow up for that. And that was, one of the conversations topics we're going to segue into, where I was telling you about, when it comes with the LGBTQ plus, I had a homeboy of mine at the time who, and this was an episode I did posted on my YouTube that I did last year, but I posted it, like a couple of weeks back this year. And really cool cat, like, very woke brother. He put me on to a lot of stuff, but the issue that he is this is a straight man who, let's just call it what it is homophobic, right? And to me is a problem, because he was a Lyft driver as well, and he basically would have an issue if anybody was in his car, he said, like, who was gay, because he said that he's had issues. And you know what, I've asked a lot of straight men, can they befriend somebody who is gay, right? And they said, Kendra, we have tried, but what happens is the gay guys get too comfortable and they try us sometimes without us realizing it, or just blatantly verbal. And I'm thinking, okay, why do I keep hearing this from a lot of straight men? I know there are some gay guys who aren't trying every straight man. Like, I know there are some gay guys you can be cool with, right? But a lot of straight men have, bring this to my mind. I'm saying, like, he literally would cancel Lyft rides, not want to pick people up. But how do you not know that gay guy wasn't going to tip you $1,000 just because? You block your own blessings, and that's where I think, like, some maturity has to come in. And with him being, brother's 30 years old, and one thing I realize is once you reach a certain age, you're gonna do and think the way that you want to think, and everything else. And to me, it should not be that issue. And that's what I want to ask you as well, segueing into this. Have you had issues trying to befriend straight men, and they literally did not want to have anything to do with you because of the fact of what your, sexual orientation is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, for me, especially coming out, that definitely was a big factor of me losing a lot of quote unquote friends at that particular moment, because I was actually somewhat in the street, but not fully in the street kind of thing. So I definitely have respect where I was growing up at, and then when everyone found out and when I came out, then it was a whole different type of story. I definitely feel like there are a lot of straight men who are conditioned to be homophobic, who are conditioned to not even give you a try. Then there are those special dudes who will give you a try, and then some gay men will hit on you, and then that one experience would mess it up for everyone else.
Yeah.
That's just like if you date a white guy, per se, and then that white guy did not treat you right. He dogged you out. You try something new, and then you just figure, like, damn, maybe I really shouldn't date white guys now. For that one experience, not just off of the person, just viewing the person as a person, but you're just grouping it all together as we're all this one thing. And that's what bothers me and confuses me all the time, because it's like, everyone's different. Everyone reacts to different things, but ultimately everyone's a different person, and you're going to get a different reaction out of the different person. So we're not all the same. We don't all try to chase after a straight man. And hopefully the straight men would kind of understand that and just let that experience be that experience. And I'm sorry that it happened to you. It shouldn't have happened to you, but... And then, not for nothing, it's kind of what you put out there, too, to be honest. Because I feel like most of those situations, you is playing along with that person at some form or fashion for them to be that comfortable to try you. They're not try you if they don't read the room. It's all about reading the room. Most of the time, unless you just don't care and they're just disrespectful, most of the time they read something off of you is why they felt they could try you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Or
true.
whether it's a straight person's upbringing, they was born with no, they didn't really have a male figure, so they're more on the feminine side, or whatever that is, or they're just extremely just open about everything. Whatever they read, you allow them to read it, kind of thing. You put that out
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. No, that's real, and that no, and that's actually very real. And like I said, I've tried, proving these points. I had them say, "Ain't no straight dude gonna just hang out with an openly gay dude," where people are gonna assume. And I had a conversation with a straight dude, and I said, "Why do you care what people have to say? If you know for a fact that you are heterosexual, shouldn't care what the world has to say." But it comes down to stereotypes, like how Little Nas was getting flack for what he did on television, but
Right.
Tiana Taylor and the other girl,
No mommy yet?
yes, but because socially it just looks more
Quote
um
unquote appealing.
yes than it does with the two men and stuff like that. And I want to ask you this as well. How do you feel about these um characters, these cartoon characters, and they're just coming out like, hey, Superman's best friend is now gay, or now Superman's mom? How do you feel about they're changing the characters from how when we were children it wasn't like that, but now they're implementing that into with the kids shows and basically changing the cartoon characters? How do you feel about that? Because I've had people from the community say that that's ridiculous and they need to stop. So I want to get your viewpoint on
So I want to touch on the double standards a little bit first.
it. Okay.
So for me, like the double standard is, I feel like this is as a people we're just conditioned to feel like lesbian is more appealing, girl and girl, whatever that is just more sexually appealing or appealing to look at than guys. But then ultimately, you don't shame the girls, you just shame the guys, and it's just confusing. Like it's the same thing, literally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, what is the big uproar? Because you're uncomfortable, but why are you uncomfortable? Because it's not for you. Like when I'm putting on stage, what my performance is not for you. So why are you upset? Why? Like, what is the problem? Do you hate us, or do you hate that we're just so open and then we're just so real about it? But you can't do that. You can't be that because you're afraid of what society says, what society thinks. So you will never be the real you. So you're mad at me for being the real me.
I might need to vote you for president. I think you or governor. We gonna start off somewhere. We gonna start somewhere local. I feel like you can get this place, run the campaign, and everything. Okay.
And for the cartoons, I feel like it's a great idea. I feel like when we was growing up, I feel like they sprinkled it. It wasn't as saturated as it is now. It's not as vocal as it is now. But I feel like we definitely had a few gay characters that it's not like they said that they was gay, but we kind of knew.
Really, like give me an example, because I was green a lot. You jumped off the porch a lot faster than I did. So, what? Give me an example who you remember, like, know for a fact this character was gay.
I feel like Bert and Ernie.
Yeah. Okay.
I definitely feel like that's like the main one.
Okay.
And I feel like it was like sprinkled around here and there. I didn't fully catch it, but I know for sure it's them. I feel like representation is everything. Like especially for younger kids who don't see themselves, because I know for years I did not see myself growing up. So that led me to trying to find out who I was, trying to find out what gay is, and have all these unanswered questions instead of letting the kids see, okay, so I can relate to this. I know what this is. This is familiar for me. And it would help them not make a lot of mistakes that we had to make, trying to find ourselves, trying to learn who we are, because we have that representation. And then for me, it would help the parents to navigate those conversations, because now you're being informed. Because growing up, my parents were not informed. They wasn't trying to be informed. But now, with this new day and age parents, they have time to get informed. They have Google. They have all of these outsources and information that is for them. And now you have these cartoon characters that is helping show your kids that it's okay to be different. It is okay to be gay. It's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
normal. We're
Mm-hmm.
normalizing something that should have been normalized, in my opinion. Mm.
Now let me ask you. At any point, did you ever date women, or you tried and just was like, okay, I can't do it.
I did date a girl. I dated a woman before,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew I always knew I was gay, but I always wanted to, I guess, quote unquote, for society be normal. So I dated a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and not much different, just something I knew wasn't for me. There was no connection. It was something I just felt like I was doing just to try to perceive to be something I'm not. It wasn't happy at all.
Got it. Got it. Were your parents or immediate family, were they pretty welcoming, or they just were like, they were appalled or oblivious to it?
Well, I felt like mothers always know.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, my mother knew. She just was waiting for me to tell her. And with my siblings, they was pretty on board. Of course, being black men in society, you have to now alter your thinking
Yeah.
because you're like, okay, so yeah, as long as none of my family's gay, I'll be cool. Like I can see gay people in the street, and it doesn't bother me as long as they don't talk to me. But now that I have a gay sibling, it kind of alters things. Now I have to think of things a bit differently. So of course it was like a learning experience for all of the men in my family, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
But,
Got it.
but thank God I wasn't one of the people who was kicked out their home or really neglected and really had to fend for themselves.
Yeah,
So
you're fortunate than a lot of people. I know you probably would have been kicked out of my house. My like I grew up in an evangelistic household, and so everything is a sin. And with
yeah.
everything being a sin, you know, um mom does not want to deal with it. I thought my mother was homophobic because she was born like during like the when polio. I got some old parents, y'all. She was born during like when the polio vaccine was like probably first created. Okay. And so back then they definitely were not welcoming. They would kill you, lynch you, whatever. Back in that day, it was not talked about. A lot of stuff was not talked about. Even the birds and the bees, you had to learn that on your own, which is that's not smart because it's like you wonder why your kid is 11 years old and pregnant. Oh, I didn't know.
Right.
I just saw the snake and he just said, let's enter. And I'm like, oh, okay. Back to the story. But so, within my household, it's like you don't like everything was, oh, okay, are you gay? Who is this woman that you're sleeping with? Is she your girlfriend? And it's bad, and I asked her, I said, are you homophobic? And then her response was, we growing up in my time period, that just was not a thing. It was not okay. We just didn't accept it, and so I'm still stuck in that time period. And I'm like, we're in a new day and age. We to me. And you know what happens? This is why you have to be mindful of who you hang around. Sometimes your family can sway your decisions a certain way. You are the company you keep. So it took me a while to not want to judge, because I was in denial of who I was. I didn't know really, what I liked and everything else like that. I was very much confused. I was you know, pretty much carrying a lot of unhealthy guilt because I'm like, oh, you come from this household, you're supposed to be completely straight. But here's the thing, one thing I've learned is sexuality is a spectrum. There's been a lot of stuff there have been a lot of guys or women, people in general I've come across who I thought was gay, and they're like, no, I'm not. Like, just because I do this makes me gay. And it, made me question a lot of different things. So like I said, in my house, it's horrible. Oh, get out, or I'm not gonna come to your wedding if you end up marrying a woman, and all that type of stuff. And you have to learn to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You have to learn. And my thing is, you have to accept. And I grew up, like I said, evangelistic household. So I remember two things that were just considered as the worst sins ever, which was homosexuality and fornication, right? And I said, if you read the Bible, because I've read the Bible from beginning to end, if you read the word, it says nowhere in there that it's going to send you to hell. The only unforgivable sin is blaspheming the Lord God, not being fornicating, okay, not being a homosexual, but again, you can't have these conversations. And then on top of that, we don't really know who's going to hell. We don't know. So you can't sit here and say, oh yeah, you're going to hell for the. I'm telling you, man, people have to just learn to mind their business, even if you don't agree with some things, because it's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with, I don't care about or whatever, but I'm not going to sit here and cast my judgment on what a person does. It is what it is. That's none of my business. However they feel that they want to parent, however they feel like they want to live their life, that's on them. And I think this is, again, you're talking to a new and improved Kendra. Honey, if this was like 5 years ago, we probably would not have made it this far, because I wasn't in that place of mental maturity. I've had to have other people speak to me over time and let me know, hey, don't think like that. Where does it say this in the word? Why does this person bother you so much? Oh, because you hung around your mother. That makes sense, type of thing. Just be free and be you. Don't sit here and try to let people make you feel bad. That's what you like. That's what you like. Hell, my soulmate could be a woman, because these men ain't acting up. They ain't acting right. I don't know, honey. I do not know. But yeah.
So, for you, where do we go from here? So we know the issue. We know like the different times, and a lot of the older especially black parents, are scared to have a lot of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
One about the burden of sex,
mm-hmm.
and about homophobia, and where can we go from here? That's knowing this, and that's knowing that they're not really willing to change. They're not really willing to have the conversation. So, for me, and like you said, you had to come to terms, and you had to really want to learn and grow for yourself in order to really understand you, for one,
mm-hmm.
and then understand the problem, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
where do we go from here?
Yeah,
I'll tell you. This is where we can go from here. I think as technology is expounding, you need to be able to. My motto is this: win in Rome. Okay, educate yourself. You have one thing I realized a lot of times the older crowd of generation. Was your parents born in the 70s, the 60s, the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My parents were born in the 40s. Like I said, they had me like when they were 50. Okay, I'm like I have a young old soul. Okay. So with that being said, we need to honestly, and some people are gonna still do what they want to do. You can't. I'm telling you, you are not gonna reach everybody. But I think education is most important. Need to teach the young, the straight men. Let them know, hey man, don't sit here and just think every single gay guy is going to try to holler at you. Don't sit here and just, there has to be, maybe they saw something within you. Because one thing I realize is I've had a couple of gay guys say, oh, Kendra, he's gay. Like they sometimes get on Tinder, like, and just check to see, okay, the straight guy to pretend, but they're undercover and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit here and just you got to educate yourself. You have to stop trying to rule people out. Don't rule people out. Just be their friend. See what they're about. Ask them what happened. See what their story is. I used to sit here and think that the biggest stereotype in the world, for a lot of gay guys is, oh, they were molested. Some were and
Yeah.
some weren't. Figure out their story. Still talk to them as a person. They have feelings as well. You know what? One thing I learned is like, man, keep you a gay guy, man. They know how to fight. I don't know, like, if that's a part of y'all superpower. I don't know what it is. Y'all know how to fight, man. One thing I learned as well, a lot of hood dudes are gay. You said that you jumped off. How old were you when you remember jumping off the porch? Because you could say you grew up in the hood. How old were you when you say you remember, like, vividly jumping off the porch?
Probably in my teens.
See, that's what I'm saying. I could have used you. You could have been my bodyguard. So that's what I'm saying, man. And then, gay guys are hilarious. So again, I think education is serious. Our generation is a lot more willing and forthcoming with different things, when it comes to whatever it might be. But I think when it comes to the parents, like I said, there are going to be some parents who are just going to be stuck in their ways. The older crowd, once the person reaches a certain age, that's just who they're going to be. But in my honest opinion, if you're able to at least reach somebody, let them know, hey, I'm not a bad person. Hey, we can still be friends. I'm not going to hit on you. What I used to be afraid of? I used to be afraid of the fact that if I came across, because like I said, hearing so many men say, oh yeah, I got hit on by a dude. I thought I was going to be hit on by a woman, right? And I'm going to keep it real with you. Secretly, I was hoping I was going to be hit on by a woman. But no, it didn't really like work like that in a way. Like, I remember it was this girl in 9th. I was in the 11th grade. She was in 9th. And she was trying to be like the school's thought, coming in. That's how she was going to enter her high school years. And okay. I remember she kept hitting on every woman, right? And I'm thinking, like, why is she not hitting on me? I want to be hit on. And she said, one thing she said to me, she's like, hey, Kendra, if you were gay, I will ride your face. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's wonderful. But I was very sexually inexperienced, right? So I didn't know what exactly that meant. And I told someone, they said, no, Kendra, that means you're going to be doing something. She's not going to be doing anything to you. And I'm like, that's no fun. I mean, what the heck is it? So, with that being said, me coming across, and I didn't really get hollered at. I've been hollered at by maybe a couple of studs and everything else like that. But I've never, and I guess my thing was, why can't I get hollered at by the feminine looking women? And then I've had gay women say to me, they're like, well, Kendra, they are the ones who like to be chased. They're not going to be the ones hollering really at you, or you just have to be in the right place at the right time. Now, every now and again, they might try to, come on to you, but it's typically going to be the studs. Like the femmes like to just be to themselves and everything else like that. I felt, to keep it real with you, I felt left out. I'm like, why is this happening to everybody else but it doesn't happen to me? And then someone said, maybe because you come off as very reserved, that you're not with it as well. So, your aura, your demeanor. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't really care that much. Let me go back and do what I finished doing. But no, like I said, man, I think the fact of the matter is that people need to just accept people for who they are. It's not, even if it is a phase, don't say that out loud. Keep it in your head. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Just keep it to yourself. They are still the same cool person that you remember hanging out with once upon a time. They no issues or complaints. They're cool. Just keep it cool with them. You never know. Just hang out with them. Be their friend. See what they're about. They could easily help you out with something. I mean, that's how I feel. I just feel like, again, you're talking to a new and improved Kendra, where my maturity, I'm not the same person I was last year. My maturity is at a different place in my mind where it shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't, if you at all. But hey, when you come from if your household is like that, and it's okay to stop talking to your family members as well. You can love them from afar. If they're bringing you grief, stop talking to them.
100%.
That's how I feel as well.
I feel like as the Black community, as a Black community, I feel like there's several conversations that we need to continue to have. It can't just be like a one-time thing. And the systemic racism I feel definitely like homophobia in the black community and the black churches, and really stopping the generational curses. Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people who's not trying to heal, who don't even know the work. Like, see, you and me, we've done the work. We learned what the work that needed to be done was. We accepted the work,
Hmm.
and then we actually went to do it. A lot of people are afraid of doing the work, maybe because they don't know where to go to try to get the work, or really being by themselves. That's why, like, a lot of relationships don't work out, because you're not really doing the work before you get into another relationship. You're just going from relationship to relationship,
Yeah.
and hurt people, and now we're in this cycle again. And now you feel the same way that you felt in your last relationship, in this relationship, because it's you.
Mm-hmm.
But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't want to realize that, damn, I'm the toxic person. I'm the problem.
Yeah, they're not. You know what? Being in denial about a lot of stuff is not going to, it you know, I think we've all at some point have been in denial about who we are, right?
Hmm.
Until somebody points it out to us, or until we get to that roadblock where we're realizing, why is this not working? What am I doing that's wrong? How'd I end up getting here? You know? And so with that being said, um with that being said, it's it's one of those things where you have to self, and you know, I think counseling, therapy helps as well. Therapy helps reveal a lot of stuff about you as well, you know. um so yeah, that's definitely what I would suggest as well. Therapy, figure, just wonder, how do we get here? It's okay. Have a support group, somebody who I feel is accepting of who you are, no matter what you do. And when I say support, and it doesn't even have to, like I said, it doesn't have to be about being part of the community. It can be, with you being, um, with you just trying to do a new business venture. Somebody to be in your corner, let you know it's okay. You can do it. So you won't give up. Stuff like that. And I was going to ask you this as well, right? Dave Chappelle made the comment that
Oh,
basically proved everybody's point. And I want to touch on it briefly, because I got to go work for the white man. Oh man, I can't. This is why I'm doing these podcasts, y'all, so I can, get on out of here out of the Section 8 neighborhood and be in somewhere in a nice area. But here's my question, and I want to touch.
I don't want to get into that yet.
Oh, okay.
Only because I'm about to do that on my next episode.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask you, why does it seem like the community are some of the biggest bullies? There are, like, people have told me, Kendra, please don't make a gay joke. Please don't talk about the Beehive. So then we don't talk about Cardi. And that's why I was gonna say, like, it seems like you are to fear them. Like, do not say one thing bad. If you say one thing bad, we are going to cancel you, and you are gonna have flack from us. And I'm thinking, is it like, what is the reason why? It made me kind of wonder, because I do notice that, like, I literally will make a joke, or have made jokes in the past, and it's like, oh my goodness, you're a horrible person. I'm getting, like, bullied online, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know nothing was bad about this. And this is when I literally have done my, and I didn't realize, like, cancel culture was as bad as it was. But I was like, oh, I'm just making this joke. I didn't say nothing bad, like, or anything else like that. But I just wondered, like, because it does seem like that. But yeah, I'm not going too much go too deep into it or anything, since you say you are talking about that on your next episode. But like I said, it does seem as if a lot of times, the people in the community, it's like, we're going to, if you say one bad thing about us, we're going to just have a whole army, and you're going to feel our wrath, type of thing.
Yeah. um. Yeah, I don't want to say too much, because I feel like I'll just continue to go in, kind of thing.
Got you.
So it's.
Wait till your next episode, part two to it.
It's definitely a lot of factors that play into that whole aspect that I'll definitely get into.
Hmm.
But since we were talking about um, conversations and support systems, right?
Yeah.
So with support systems, why do you feel like we hold on to like people, like friends or relatives? Why do we hold on to them once they are no when they're really not good for us? And we have a understanding, we understand that they're not, but they're still there.
Familiarity. People don't like starting over. That's really what it comes down to. You don't want to, you know, this person your entire life. You know how they're going to deal with. You don't want to meet somebody new. You don't want to have to deal with whatever comes with that. You know, you want to be able to, um, you just know, you know them. Hey, I know for a fact they gonna, even though they gonna act, you know, bother me or whatever else it may be, I can still deal with them. I can still deal with them, and their crap versus letting somebody new in. That's my response to that.
So do you feel like we should continue on this pattern of being scared of being, yeah, pretty much of being scared of the unknown?
Definitely
Or should
not.
we just continue the cycle and say, okay, well, I know this person's not good for me, they don't really benefit my life, but because they're familiar, I guess I'll just keep them around for them, even though they can easily feel the same way about you. And now we're just in a unhealthy friendship.
Hmm. No, I think honestly, my motto like is this, man. If that person's not meant to listen, man. People come and people go. All right, you got. Sometimes you just have relatives. That's what I really got in my life. Even from my immediate family, they're relatives. Okay, and you gotta protect your mental peace. You know, I wanna, you know, I wanna say this, like, protect your mental peace. It's okay to stray away. Again, if you want to stay in these people's lives because you know this is familiarity, to do that, but don't complain. There are gonna be
Mm,
some people who are gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe my sister keeps treating me like this." That's your fault. At some point, you gotta take accountability for your own actions. Say that's my fault for me still dealing with her. You
yeah,
that's what I think people don't understand. Take your own, have your own accountability, actions and everything else like that. Do not complain because you know what, you're gonna be upset, man. Kendra, you're just mean, you're just a jerk, blah say woo. And I'm like, you're the one coming to me complaining. It's been 5 months now. There's no solution. You just want to sit here and complain, and you're trying to make me your free counselor. Your free counselor. It doesn't work like that. You need to have, and on top of that, nobody wants to be around a person who doesn't know how to properly deal with issues. Like, yes, we're all adults. We all have issues. We all have pain. You know, nobody wants to sound like a broken record. It's okay to talk about certain things. It's okay, but I'm telling you, you have to learn how to come to some resolution. You gonna deal with it and be quiet, but don't sit here and complain about it. Nobody wants to hear that. I'm telling you the truth. You're gonna wonder why you never receive a phone call or people are very short with you. Nobody likes that. We all want positivity. You know, that's how I feel about it.
I feel like it's allowing too. We're allowing them to hurt us. We're allowing them to mess up our mental. We're allowing them to continue to bring us negativity. It's an allowance at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like one time it's like okay, second time it's like okay, third time it's like okay. So I'm at this point I'm boo the fool because I'm just allowing it. I'll complain about it, but I'm not. I'm scared to have that conversation. I'm scared to really go to my friend and say, you know what, this isn't working at this particular moment. I'm noticing a pattern. I'm noticing things, and for me, in this point of my life, I don't necessarily, I don't need what you're bringing. So either we can grow together, or this may be your last stop. But a lot of times we don't even have that conversation with our friends. when they're so used to and conditioned to just cutting them off, and there's never really a conversation of what happened. So, yeah, we might not want to hold on to friends who may not be great for you,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like there should still be a conversation, some type of resolve instead of just quitting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of people are just so used to quitting or so used to just, okay, well, I'm tired, but that person never really had an inkling that you was tired because you
Mm-hmm.
never expressed that you was tired. You never expressed how you felt.
Yeah.
I can just imagine how these people are in any relationship they're in, whether it's friendship or whatever that looks like, because you may have a communication issue. Not to communicate because you may not know what you want. And at certain parts of your life, you want different things. You want different things from different people at different times.
Mm-hmm.
To be, you have to allow yourself to one, acknowledge that feedback, and then for two, express it. However, you need to express those feelings, express that pain, express that discomfort, express that annoyance, express that praise, express whatever needs to be expressed so you can actually feed it. So, one, you won't be neglecting your feelings and your poise, but two, so you're giving that person, now you're allowing that person to understand more about you, understand their faults, understand that, okay, I fucked up this time because I just said this down and third, but you never checked me, so I never knew that it offended you. I never knew that me dealing with XYZ affected you.
That's real.
I feel like
That's real.
communication is key in any situation. And I feel like we don't communicate because I feel like a lot of people are just listening.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. They're not listening to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to that aspect, then of course defenses is automatically gonna come up. And then now you're not having a conversation, you're having an argument. Instead of it being something that could have benefited both of y'all, now it's just okay, fuck you, then fuck you, and now we're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this time frame that we had together away like that, without any build up, without any explanation, it's just this is how I'm feeling because I had enough. Instead of gradually getting there with conversations, with just talks, and
That's real.
I feel like more so for our community, unfortunately, is where we where this affects us the most because we were never really taught to communicate. We were never really taught to express our feelings, especially as black men.
Mm-hmm.
We're not taught to we're not taught to express our feelings. That's where there's a lot of toxic masculinity going around. There's a lot of boys and men bodies.
Yeah. They are. And they listen, they be trying to holler at me. I'm like, sir, you're not fixed. You need help. You need
Hmm.
oh, I don't want to, especially in the black community. Oh, counseling, like what goes on in this house stays in this house. Let me say this because I do have
That
to.
part.
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
I'm gonna share these last few points, and I gotta go ahead and get ready to, to work for the white man and stuff. I try to be on time, but like part of that stereotype, late. I try not to be, but I'm like, I don't give a damn about this job most of the time.
Mhm.
Anyway, but no, let me say this. Um, my last little few points. There's a lot of stuff that happens in households that need to be brought about. You guys want to out the gay person in your family, but you want to keep the child molester a secret.
Mhm.
I have an issue about that. Okay, people, it's okay. Black men, stop mean mugging another brother. If you see him, shake his hand, speak to him, ask him how he's doing. Break that cycle. Okay. Um, a lot of black men. Okay, quit. Black men and women, quit sexually harassing our young women. Okay, and when I say sexually, like when I say young women, just women, period. Because a lot of these guys don't know. No means no. It doesn't mean try harder. It doesn't mean maybe. Okay, she's not interested. She's not interested, but you're badgering her. You're still sexually harassing her. All of that type of stuff. You're being a creep. It's, to me, it's, don't do that. Don't do that. Just look at the sign. She's not interested. Black men, okay? Please, if she tells you she's not interested, don't sit here and curse her out or try to violently attack her because she politely told you no. Like, it's again, we can, always continue going further on about this because these are things that I recognize. But, my final thoughts are,
rejection syndrome is real.
It is. And my thing is this ain't Burger King. You can't always have it your way, right? So you have to just realize, and black, let me say this about black women. Quit trying to, when you don't, you'll fight for gay rights, but then you will sit here and insult a straight man with a homosexual slur because he didn't do what you wanted him to do. Y'all need to stop that as well. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna get into. We can be here till all the next day and going on rant, but for the sake of time, I gotta go and prepare myself for today.
Well, I just want to expound on what you just said about sexual deviancy kind of thing. No means no kind of thing, but I definitely want to include the black man as well, because a lot of times we're not heard when we are touched, when we have been assaulted, because we're men and we don't get that same right as women do. So I want to include the black brothers who do get hurt, who do get touched without warranted. Because there are women who just touch their dick because they feel like they can, and no does mean no. So I want to include everyone in terms of that aspect. Mm-hmm. But before you go, I definitely want to have you promote your stuff. You're a comedian, and your skits on Instagram is everything.
I try to.
Like this topic that you go through, this how well thought out it is, how well delivered it is. Just keep on going, keep on shining for that. And tell us before you go, like what made you pick comedy? How did you get into comedy?
Real quickly, I got into comedy because I had children tell me that I'm funny in street things that don't lie. It's, children, a drunk man in leggings. Okay, and so with those things, like, hey, mommy, she's funny. I like her. Blase woo. And so I had multiple people tell me I was funny. I remember my 4th grade teacher, shout out to Mrs. Rouser, she said, you're hilarious. You need your own, you're going to be great one day. And so I started via 2016, via Snapchat. And I started importing my videos from Snapchat late 2017, early 2018 on IG. Okay. And I just said, okay, let me... I got back in a better algorithm of posting more frequently. Like, I will post 3 times a week. Now I'm posting 3 times a week. I don't remember the start point of when I started, but I realized, like, you got it, because I was only posting once every 5 days, right? Which isn't good, but because I was trying to, I was running out of material, trying to figure out exactly what is it that I really wanted to, be as well. How do I go about posting this? But like I said, it's for me personally, I had to learn, okay, Kendra, I feel like this is your calling. I had a minister tell me, the same one who baptized me, hey, this is your calling and stuff like that. So I went after it. I started jumping on people's podcasts October 2020. And at this point, I've been on like at least 700 podcasts and counting. So I'm not playing games. I'm trying to just, like I said, get my name out there and just really go full throttle. And here I am now.
Well, thank you for blessing us with your presence. Kendra, you do have a podcast on anywhere that you can listen to it. The Kendra Crump podcast.
Yeah, Kendra Crump Show podcast. And not with no money sign, I'm not no fake ass ASAP Rocky. SHOW. Okay, and Kendra with a Y. D is a the, and then KYNDRA. CRUM is a Mary Peas and Paul Show podcast. Okay, so y'all make sure y'all. I can't find her. Yeah, God, you didn't listen thoroughly.
So I know you have to get going. So thank you again for being on my podcast.
Thank you
And everyone,
for having me.
this is Kendra, and we have a lot more to talk about coming soon.
That's right. Thank you. And you're more than welcome to come on my podcast. We'll talk after this, and we'll figure out the date to put you on.
Yes.
All right, sweetie. You take care now. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.